and then you get these Triforce pieces. The gameplay itself was terrific. And you get, for tools, you get bow and arrow that uses up 1 rupee. You get a little drawbridge that goes on 1 step. You get a staff, and with the Book of Magic, a staff that will shoot a sonic wave that hits fire. Now with Willow, it is story oriented. In the beginning it mentions the messenger of the skies, the messenger of the earth lived and gave magic to the humans. And then the messenger of the earth became wicked and turned the messenger of the skies into a possum. The messenger of the earth, Bathmorda, was an evil sorceress. And then the messenger of the skies, Finrazel, was always good. Then you, the main character Willow, must journey and destroy Bathmorda. Along the way you get many swords. In Zelda you get 3 swords. In Willow you get 10 plus swords.
Nice.
Like the long sword, the battle sword.
That's a nice feature to have more weapons.
And then in Willow you get more shields. There are only 2 shields in Zelda, a small shield and a big shield.
Yep.
With Willow you get a wooden shield, a small shield, a large shield,
huge shield,
spiked shield, which if you have the wooden shield it does not deflect against fire. With the small shield, it was metal, it can deflect against fire. Zelda had that, and this game did that as well.
Oh, that's natural. Yeah.
That was natural, and Willow could include that. And then in the game you get more magic, more unique magic, which had 10 plus spells. You had stunning acorns, you had wall of fire, you had a bubble wand that would ultimately defeat, I will not mention. You had a book of magic, magic spells to evacuate from a dungeon, spells that can transform monsters, which clearly had more spells than Zelda. And there were 4 kinds of items: swords, shields, magic, and items. And you had key items, which were the items which could get into different areas, reunite ghost lovers.
Yeah, those key items are pretty much what you need for advancing in the game, pretty much.
Yes, exactly. And crystals that can create the crest that will ultimately defeat Bathmorda, or the herb that will summon the pterodactyl Poe, which can teleport you from town to town, which Zelda did not have back in the first game. So I'd say in many aspects it was better than Zelda.
Oh, okay, so...
And it had great music too.
It did stuff that Zelda did later.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
And in this game it had a greater soundtrack, or it had a richer soundtrack, because in Zelda, let me think, it had 1, 2, let me think. Da 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 da. 1, da 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 da. 2 songs. Da 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 da. 3 songs. Da 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 da. 4 songs, and then the no sound inside the caves or the towns. But in this game, you had houses and people give you stuff. And you get treasure chests. In Willow, it had more stuff.
I'll definitely have to check that game out. Definitely.
But I said the real competition, it would be trying to evaluate between Willow and Zelda: A Link to the Past.
Definitely, because...
And then Link to the Past wins.
Link to the Past is actually one of my favorite games of all time. Great game.
But the funny thing is, Capcom made this terrific action RPG that's comparable to Zelda, which was made by Nintendo, and the father of Mario and Link, Shigeru Miyamoto.
Wow.
So that's definitely something to look at. And, funniest thing, it was not an original game. It was made after a movie.
So it was a licensed game that was actually good.
Made from a movie, yes.
Nice.
And Capcom was also famous for doing Disney games and doing successful works like Aladdin. Or what else did they... Oh, Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck.
Yes,
Chip and Dale, DuckTales.
Yeah, I think we should make a second part.
We should do a part 2 because there's definitely much more to talk about.
There's a lot of to talk about, newer games that are coming out.
Little Mermaid. But
great games from Disney movies, from Disney franchises that Capcom made. Some great games in there. There are some great games that came out recently, and some games that are coming out also from Capcom.
We also need to compare Capcom to other game companies in the other genres.
Definitely.
Such as the platform aspects in the other genres that they work in, that other companies excel in, but Capcom still does a decent job. But before we conclude the episode, let's recommend one game, but for this case, let's recommend a Capcom game.
Capcom game. Okay, let's...
And 2 days ago you played Goof Troop and beat it.
Yeah, definitely.
Well,
I actually played Goof Troop last week, and it was this week actually. Last week.
Well, we both did it when we were young kids.
And it was fun. And
Alright, well, what's your game that you recommend, or did I give it away? Or recommend another one?
Well, I recommend playing the Resident Evil 2 definitely. If you haven't played the old games, you don't want to play the first one since it's kind of hard. Especially the new versions are harder than the PS1 version.
Alright.
So if you are getting into Resident Evil and want to get the whole survival horror experience, go play the second one. It was great.
You can get that for the PlayStation 1 and the Nintendo 64?
Yep.
Perfect.
And you can also get it on the GameCube and
Oh, good, because
and
of the
PlayStation
re-release.
Network
Nice.
on the PS3.
So if you're one of the consoles, you have access to Resident Evil 2. Terrific.
Yeah, definitely. Get into that game.
Now, I'm going to recommend some older titles for Capcom. I would recommend Willow, the 1989 NES game that I just mentioned, because it's terrific action RPG adventures. Also another game, Nemo and the Dream Master, which is based off an old comic by Winsor McKay. And he predated Disney, and he was an inspiration for Disney, by the way, because of his cute animation and this boy going to the many dream worlds. Well, Dreamland, or Slumberland.
Okay. Well, that'll be part 1 of Capcom episode, and we're definitely gonna talk more about Capcom on the second part.
You can go inside
Look forward
animals in Nemo and the Dream Master.
Look forward to it. It's gonna be great, and we're gonna have more Capcom music.
See you in part 2.
See ya, guys.
That was good, guys.
Great.
Excellent. Let's get the MP3.
That was great.
Terrific.
Great.
Still good enough. We don't have